So I debated back and forth whether or not to make this video at all. I didn't want it to seem like it was just in order to make content for the channel or to have a reaction and get views or anything like that. It was even just this morning that I decided to finally go ahead and make the video. And so this is I don't know, how do you describe it? A thank you to Brian Barczyk, who unfortunately we got the news that he passed away from pancreatic cancer yesterday. So for those in my audience that watch these videos, we have some folks that are from the reptile community who know Brian's name very, very well, and others who are from more of the coffee roasting side who may not know that name. But what I really want this video to show is the tremendous impact that one person can have and not even realize it on the lives of so many people. So I began watching Brian's videos when I started looking for my first pet reptile. I already had the idea that I was interested in reptiles and amphibians, and back then it at least to me didn't seem like it was a very common or very I don't know, celebrated idea of a pet, and I stumbled across Brian's Snakebite TV videos. This was probably in the 2009 or so range, 2008, 2009 range. Early on in his journey on YouTube, and I became obsessed with those videos. So I was pretty early, I think, in the series of Snakebite TV videos, so I didn't have to go back very far to catch up on all of them, but I did. I went back and I watched every episode of the Snakebites TV, watched him live the dream of what someone like myself could imagine that being, and running and operating a reptile breeding facility. And he did so with such passion and energy that really jump-started my looking into having not one but many reptiles and amphibians. And at the end of, when everything is said and done, what I wanted to do in this video is to share someone who had met Brian a few times, but not to the level of what many of the people that are making these types of videos had interacted with him. I had met him a couple of times at Tinley Park when we were just beginning to vend as cold-blooded caffeine, but I had never had the opportunity to get to know him as a person, as many in the industry were able to do, because I started vending those larger shows later on in his career, when he had stopped vending them with the reptiles and he was just attending them sporadically when he had the opportunities. And so I wanted to make this video as someone that he influenced, but I have sort of been silent about this entire time. And I wanted it to be out there as evidence, in case, as a permanent reminder of the impact that this one man's life made on the future of my life and my business. So none of this, I feel pretty confident that none of this could have been possible. And this meaning the building that I'm in now, the relationships that I've built with people within the reptile industry, or the reptile industry as a whole, without the contributions of Brian Barczyk. And he paved the path for so many different people to do so many great things within this industry. What I saw from Brian, and I didn't follow him as closely as some others did, as I got busier and started my entrepreneurial journey and started making videos myself. But what I saw day in and day out was someone that was living his life's purpose. And that's really what we can all aspire to do, right? That's, at the end of the day, doing something every day that you truly believe in and that you truly feel like is your life's mission, is something that, if you've gotten to that point, you've made it. And I think Brian was the epitome of making it, especially within the industry that he chose, which is the reptile and amphibian pet keeping community. And whether you agree or disagree with some of the things that he did throughout his journey, I think that it's foolish for us to believe or discount the contributions that he made to that community. What I saw from Brian was someone that was paving a path forward that didn't exist previously. And did he make all the right decisions along that journey? No, but I couldn't imagine someone doing it any better than what he did. I saw a man that was very passionate about what he believed in. I saw a man that was pushing himself to continue to grow in his knowledge and education. Even though he may have been considered the top of his game, he never let that rest or let that settle. He always pushed forward. He always looked for improvements within his husbandry. He always looked for improvements within his ability to educate people. He not only stopped at YouTube, where he had a huge audience, but he built the Reptarium, and he continued to push forward with the Legacy Aquarium initiatives that he didn't have to do. He didn't have to spend that kind of money. He didn't have to invest that kind of time because he had an audience, right? He could have made a perfectly fine living selling snakes and being a YouTube social media influencer. But he didn't rest on that. He didn't settle for the care methods and the husbandry methods of 10, 15, 20 years ago. He was continuing to push forward. He was continuing to kind of set the standard for reptile zoos and reptile keeping in general. And I mean, gosh, if any of us can aspire to one thing, it would be to continue to get better, even if we are at the top of our game. I want to thank Brian for everything that he did. He didn't know me. He didn't know that he was helping me, but he did it for each and every one of us. I know that there were some hard days, even before his diagnosis. I know that there were days that he didn't want to do the vlog, because I know that I'm the same way, and days that you just don't want to get up and go to work and do the things that you need to do. But he did it, and he did it for us. He didn't do it for himself. He did it for us. And every person that comes into the reptile industry post 2009 owes some part to Brian Barczyk for setting the stage for that to be a thing, right? He made, with his 5 million plus subscribers on YouTube, he made reptile keeping commonplace, right? He made, owning a snake or owning a lizard a normal thing that people do, and not something that's fringe society, right? And so I really wanted to take a moment to thank Brian, thank his family for, I know that was a strain on his family through the years, having to be on camera all the time, and having his life out there in the public. I know my life is so small in public compared to what he has to go through. I could only imagine having to put up with that day in and day out, and he did it cheerfully. And so thank you, Brian. Thank you, the entire Barczyk family. Our thoughts and prayers are with you all. I know that you lost a husband and a father, and a grandfather, and a boss and an employer and an income, right? It's easy for us to sit on the other side of the camera to say, we're sorry for your loss, but what I wanted to do is share and give you some sense of solace and comfort that his life impacted people beyond what you even know, even remotely know currently, right? His message will continue, and I can't wait to see what amazing things are to come with the launch, with the continued efforts with the Reptarium and the launch of the Legacy Aquarium. His legacy is not over. It still has many more people to influence and inspire to get into the reptile keeping community. So I think that's it. I mean, this video, it really comes from the heart. I didn't come into this with a script. I hope it came across genuine, because I do really care about Brian and his family as much as you can care about someone that, you know, is on the other side of the country, and that you've only met sporadically. I do feel thankful that I got to be a part of the reptile community when he was in his heyday. I'm really glad that I got to see those early Snake Bites TV videos and watch as he progressed in his career from the beginning until where he is, where he has built his facilities now. And I will certainly continue to be watching closely and hopefully get to visit the Legacy Aquarium once it's open. I'm sad that Brian's not going to be there at the front door to greet us. I'm sad that I'm not going to have those interactions with him anymore at those big shows. But I will always be thankful and always have fond memories of, you know, hearing that voice come across the computer or come across my phone when he uploaded those videos, and you know, the just the little spark of joy that brought every day or every couple of days when I had a chance to watch them, and what that meant to me. And I'll continue to support his channel, as I hope you will as well, because his family needs us more than ever. They have a lot of work ahead of them, I know, and you know, all we can do is give them every bit of support that they have, not only Brian earned, but they've earned as well, and that respect and that, you know, it's difficult to put a measure on a person's impact and on what their life, you know, meant. But I can honestly say that when I think of industries and when I think of, you know, hobbies that I've been a part of in my life, I don't know if there's one person that was more impactful on a single industry than Brian Barczyk was on reptile keeping and breeding. And so thank you, Brian. I'm sad that you're gone, but I know that you're in a better place and in a place where you're no longer in pain. And I'm thankful that I had all those years with you on the other side of the screen, and how much you taught me in that journey. So thank you, Brian. We love you. We'll miss you, but we'll keep your legacy alive going forward.